Today we have a very challenging, interesting topic, which I've been doing a lot of searching for this right from our childhood. We keep saying, no, our children keep saying, if God exists, why can't I see him? Where is God? And what is God? Who is God? And our whole life is rotating around this God, God, and God. So, can God be perceived? Can God be seen? It was a doubt. Lots of people, particularly theistic religion, dualistic religion, to start with Sankhya. Dualistic religion goes ahead and gives you very good, happy definition that God does exist. You will see God if you have been a good boy, good girl. But after you die, God is up there in the temple, in the church. If it is a very powerful Kedarnath, Badrinath, or temples such as that, the Dakshineshwar Kali Mandir, if you go and sit there and meditate, you will see God. So the ball remains on your purity, in your abhyasa, how are you perceiving, etc. But the power of the Vedanta, which I find more and more intriguing, is Vedanta saying in Advaita, not the Vishishta Advaita, in Advaita Vedanta. Vishishta Advaita, if you remember, is Ramanujam, and Advaita Vedanta is Shankaracharya. Ramanujam is the worshipper of God, meaning a theistic religion. And strangely and surprisingly, you will find that Shankaracharya himself, I would say that we have been lucky to go to Badrinath, which was to start his journey. He carried on and he went and settled down there, and he did a lot of work. And from there, now we have 4 Shankaracharya's generations in the whole of India, 4 corners of India. Shankaracharya came about and said that, yes, you can. The Upanishad is going to tell us now how. And this is the search. Today, if we really concentrate and understand, without letting jargon be, I'm not going to get into jargon, which many of us get put off. Some of it would have to be there because, after all, we are talking about 1,000 years old Upanishad, but it is also meant for simple children, simple people, and most importantly, today's modern youth who are not very interested. Have you realized? They are very fond of fun, frolic, enjoying time. When we grow old, then we will think about God. Not now. And yet, they don't want suffering. So Advaita Vedanta going ahead and telling, there is a way, and you can see it, you can realize it. And definition is given, but what the hell? Who wants definition? We want to experience, we want to see it, we want to touch it, we want to feel it. Is that possible? So towards the end of this session, it will become very, very clear. The question is, this has been the millennium, centuries old topic. Does God really exist? And if God did exist, then why are we suffering? God is supposed to be all loving, all caring. Then why do we suffer? God is our father, the mother figure. Which human mother or father will make their children suffer? We don't. No human parent would do that. And if they have the answer to the end of the suffering, they will end the suffering with whatever they have. Unfortunately, why are we still the children suffering? Because the human parent, human mothers and the fathers, they don't have that power like God has. God has got infinite power. God can be, as per the definition, anything and could do anything. Then why do we suffer? These are the questions. The suffering part of it, we'll take it on our next session, because that's another huge subject. Today we'll go ahead and how do we experience God, realize God? How can we see God? And yes, what is God? How is God? And who is God? So with this, I want to, there are many things happen in our life which we make a lot of plannings, all of us do. Very few today, even the lower class of worker class, even they also started doing planning, influence, educations and things like that. Most parts, particularly in India. So there is one, this gentleman is a Scottish gentleman, farmer, Mr. Clark. He had this vision and, he wanted to go for a voyage. He had 5 kids, his wife, and all his life savings. He took it out and bought in that famous ship. Remember? Which is that very famous ship? The journey which sunk, hit an iceberg. Recollect? Loudly? Yes. He bought tickets on that. It was supposed to sail, actually happened. It's not a story. 1912. It is supposed to sail on 10th of April. And he bought the tickets. And naturally, he's not a very rich guy. And he, like all of us do, we like to buy the air tickets and ship tickets and all, the lowest possible rate. He bought it at that economy rate, which is the regular price. Not refundable. This so happened 6 days to go when he was to board the ship, the voyage was to start. One of his sons got bitten by a dog. And the doctor suggested that you should not take him because, those days it was not very clear. Rabies. So he might infect other passengers. So it is better he should stay back. Mother suggested, Mr. Clark, why don't you go ahead with the other 4 kids? I'll stay back with this kid. Very gallant lady. Father thought and thought. Always imagine lifetime saving. He's put it into that ticket. Eventually his conscience didn't allow to leave his wife and son behind. And he chose to stay back. 5 days later, that is when it was supposed to be, I'll come, please come. Feel comfortable, settle down. So Mr. Clark was standing there and the ship was to sail and he was standing with tears in his eyes. All his money is going out. Watching. Naturally, sinking heart. 10th of April, 1912. And you know what? 5 days later, the same ship hit the iceberg and 1,800 plus people died. So there are times when you and I plan a lot of things and then something goes wrong and happens, or we start to feel, why does it have to be me? Why is it me? But when you look deeper into it, this unified field, the nature, actually takes us across to then this gentleman, Mr. Clark, he went ahead and he wanted to garland that dog, that he saved his entire family from death. Sheer death it was. And he started praying that, thank you, God. It is you who have saved. Coming down to these, references of the God and the godly things, we are perplexed in our life all the time. Can we experience God? Today, by the end of the session, you will certainly have a very good idea, and you would know and you would experience. This experiencing this is what is the journey of the ancient 1,000 years old Vedanta is trying to bring it about to you and me. And what has happened, all of us have forgotten what is Vedanta. We don't know anything. Our journey today is, which we have taken up, is to make everybody become, as many as possible, take up this journey of the wisdom. Just see, this is Evan Thompson. Waking, dreaming, being. He is a professor in British Columbia University in Canada. Professor, head of the department of philosophy. He is writing about Upanishads. This gentleman, infinite paths to infinite reality. Which is this reality? What is real? And what is real is what we think is real is not real. And it is not just saying, it is us understanding by today. And then we should continue to practice. We will end it with a little meditation. With that meditation, you will start to understand what is real. And our journey is when we keep on practicing like this, you'll be able to say, yes, this is because. And you will know it. It's just like that, we know I'm a man or I'm a woman. This knowing everybody is very clear. But when you say something about God, it is straight away theistic religion. Once you die, then you will meet God. God is in the heaven. God is not here. And then you keep hearing God is everywhere. But this is becoming very confusing to most. But if you follow the path of the understanding, and the best part is in Vedanta is not a religion. And Vedanta does not make you a follower of a religion. What it does, in fact, this statement was given to one of the ardent, sincere devotee of Swami Vivekananda, that Sister Nivedita, who was an Irish lady, Christian, came from a staunch Christian family, Protestant Christian family, church owner. And she fell in love with the concept of this and followed. And she worked and worked and worked in a place like that time, Calcutta, West Bengal, and they had the cholera epidemic and things like that. And she would even sweep the streets to clean up the garbage. Those days, Bengal. Imagine, that is around 1895, 1896. And 1947, we got something about 52 years after that, we got our independence. At that time, she never went back. She went with him once or twice more to America and Europe. But what intrigued her, and so many more, Josephine MacLeod, she was asked this question. She said, if you want to know the truth and what is real, perceive, pursue, understand this. Others are going ahead and understanding it. You all have heard about Dara Shikoh, Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan, correct? He had studied intensely Upanishad and called it, he got it translated in Persian, name from Persia, Upanikhat. So there is something what makes today in Harvard, there is Divinity School. Divinity School is doing research on Vedanta. And we Indians, we are supposed to be Upanishad Vedanta in our country, mother. We know so little. So I kept getting the message, we thought we will take on this journey. And the beauty part is, it goes ahead and says, you know, the definition and understanding of God has been dealt in details in Taittiriya Upanishad. And Taittiriya Upanishad is giving the definition to start with. What is God? How do you call God? It says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Satyam is existence. Sat can be truth, can be existence as per Sanskrit. What exists? Meaning it's real. So this computer exists. It's real. I can't say it is not there. But I can say elephant is not there because I can't see it over here. Jnanam, knowledge, wisdom. And Anantam, infinite. There is no limit. How do we understand this? You know, these things are very complex thing, and especially since we haven't had that kind of a journey for all our life for modern men and women. And I found a very simple way to go ahead and let's take up the journey together. This is in, by the way, the first paragraph is called Brahmananda Valli in Taittiriya Upanishad, in which this is explained. And it's talking about also Brahma Vedapanati Param, meaning those who understand Veda, the knower, understanding and knower of Vedas, Upanishad, will attain everything. Whatever you want in your life, sounds great. So you and I will say, let's have some Vedas, let's have some Upanishad for us, let's have some Brahman, which is this, give me some Brahman to me, isn't it? Why? Because I can get whatever I want, whatever you want. This is the promises in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Brahma Vedapanati Param. The knower of Brahman attains the highest. So the question will come to your mind, something called Brahman. What is this Brahman? Question will come to know to you, who is this Brahman? What is Brahman? And what do you mean by attain the highest? What is that? What is that I'm going to get? Then give me some Brahman. I don't mind. All of us will say, take it on. In this process, very simple. I didn't know this. We all have seen Patanjali Yoga Sutra. You all must have known. Yoga process. All of us have done something. Patanjali Yoga Sutra by Vyasa. I have a copy. It's huge. It's two of this and one more book if you put it. That is Patanjali Yoga Sutra. It's huge. It was written by Vyasa. But while doing research, I came to know that what Patanjali wrote, that's about somewhere around 180 BC to somewhere there around 160 BC. What he wrote, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the original one, it can be fitted into one A4 sheet if you just make a printer. Only that much, on which Rishi Vyasa wrote so much. Meaning, what intense. And he talked about, Patanjali talked about anything that you can think about can be cured, can be healed and can attain. So which you know the outline, 8 limbs, ayama, niyama, asana, like that, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. And samadhi state is. But notice one thing, in Patanjali, which we keep having, Rajiv, we keep talking about, that in yoga, you have to do something, you know? You have to follow ayama, niyama, discipline, sense control, and asana, you have to sit properly. You should not move, hilo mat, like a sergeant orders out. And you have to do pratyahara, dharana, sense controls, and then dhyana, samadhi. So there are lots of journey. The more we come to know about Advaita Vedanta, why somebody young, Shankaracharya, just imagine, 8 years old, left his home. And he's been wanting to leave home from 4 years of age. And mother kept telling, I don't know, you all may not be aware, Shankaracharya, before he was born, mother and father were very old. Mother once prayed to Shankara, Shiva, I want a son. So Shiva said, okay, what kind of a son do you want? One who will live for long life, 100 years plus, but will be a pain in the neck. The other son is just 16 years and will bring name and fame and peace to you. After such a long time, they're going ahead for a son, and immediately condition has come. Which one do you want? Luckily, mother and father chose the one who would live 16 years, but will be pious, holy, kind. So Shankara was born. Shankara very soon became a great Pandit. You know, over here we have Sant Gyaneshwar. At the age of 5, he defeated all the Vedas, Shastras, Pandits around Maharashtra. We have had some unique experience when we went down to see his ashram. It was just, it's like a story, slightly offshoot. We didn't know what are the timings and all. Just went down. I thought temple must be open. Everything was closed. It was around, I think, 12:30, 1 o'clock. You have to come in the morning or come in the evening. So I kept saying, Sant Gyaneshwar, we have come to see your home, your house. Can't we see, at least go around the place, sit for quietly for half an hour? Suddenly, one gentleman comes in opened the door, comes out in dhoti and upper body is not wearing anything. His Brahma Sutra was there. He looked at us. So we went down and naturally we wanted to, our typical insistence, can we see it please? He didn't get into any discussion. He said, come. He said, wow. And we went inside. He said, here is the door, that is where is the Santra. You can go ahead, you can sit down and meditate, you can do pradakshan. We did all that. We were there almost 1 hour. And Gyan Swamiji was there that time. After 1 hour, we came out. I wanted to naturally thank him and also leave a little money or something. Nobody, not a single soul, not even a jhadu wali, nothing, not even a dog. And you know what? This gentleman had vanished. We went round and round, 10-15 minutes we searched for it. When we came out, and there are some boat rides are not available there. You can do a little boat in that river. We went to the boat and we were asking around. He said, there is nobody there. It's all locked up. I said, but we went just now, we came out, and now it was their turn to be surprised. He said, really? How? Who? I said, we don't know. He was a fair, quite tall guy, must be Rajiv, your height, lean, about your age, bare-bodied. He was wearing a dhoti, and you could see the Brahmin, that sutra was there. strange. Like that, these strange experiences we had for once we went to Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya wanted to leave home. Mother said, father had died. Mother said, see, if you go away, when I die, who will put that yagni? Shankaracharya said, don't worry. When you leave your body, I will come. She said, see, I have to go 2 kilometers to take a bath every day morning. Who will take me? And you being my son here, so who am I going to ask? Shankaracharya said, okay. You know what he did? At that young age, 5 years of age, he got the whole river turn and go. It is still there, Shankaracharya. It is flowing right in front of their house. He got the river to take its turn and come down in front. And then he said, Mother, now the river is here. You can take bath. Mother said, see, you're too young. You stay for a few days more. Not wanting to part with you. Shankaracharya played a very small, intelligent trick. So one day, then he was about 8, taking bath. Tapil sir knows the story. Suddenly a crocodile came and caught Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya was standing with mother. And Shankaracharya is saying, save me, mother, save me. And mother is calling out people to come. Where people? There's nobody there. She doesn't know what to do. Shankaracharya is saying, Mother, one condition, the crocodile will not touch me. He doesn't eat the monks. If you allow me to be a monk and let me go, then he'll leave. Mother frantically then said, okay, you go. And the crocodile left and went. There are many powerful story of Shankaracharya. Imagine at 16 years of age, he is teaching. 60 years old, and the statement goes on to say that students are very old. Teacher is very young. Nobody speaking. Meaning Shankaracharya is teaching, but he's not saying anything. He is meditating. And he says, no student has any doubt. Can you imagine what kind of India used to be? Where the more I think about it, they're sitting quietly, and whatever their doubts are, whatever Shankaracharya is wanting to teach, it's already entering their head without any verbal hearing, listening, talking, nothing at all. This Shankaracharya had written down Karika, and we have done on the 3rd of April talk, we did that on Mandakya. We'll continue to do Mandakya subsequently. I thought we'll do a deviate little bit into this. What is God? How is God? Who is God? Can we define God? If you try to tell yourself, let me try and define God, you'll find it very difficult. How would you define God? Rajiv sir, how would you say? Can you want to make an attempt? You will see the gap. I was trying to do that. How would you define God? Who is God? Loudly.
Who is doing guidance?
Who is doing?
Guidance for us.
Guidance for us. Yeah, many people say who's created this universe, who's created you and me, and like that. In this definition, if you look carefully, what we keep talking about, God is someone else, separate from you. No? God is very powerful. So you got my message. Champion, Yogesh. Very powerful, but separate from you. They are separate. God is very powerful. We are very vulnerable. We are small. We are tiny in this world. God can do anything. But the question comes in, why are we suffering there? God is our father and the mother. If you're the father and the mother, you won't like your children to suffer. Which father and the mother? Human parent. But then what happened? Human parents are very weak, no power. What to do? It's God's grace. I remember when Tapliosa will remember, Vijay is too young. When you remember smallpox? What was another Indian name for it?
Mata.
Huh?
Choti Mata.
What?
Choti Mata.
What does that mean?
Mata.
Maka Daya.
Something like that.
It's in Bengali it is called Mayer Daya, meaning mother's kindness for smallpox. Mother is who? The divine mother. Nothing will happen otherwise, Ma blessings. And mother will bless you, then you will be all right. You see how we understood God? It's like that. We went to Indore, you remember? In Indore, there is one temple where Bhairav, Shiv, Bhairav Ram, where, mind you, this Shiva drinks nothing else but rum. The prasad is rum. And the strange thing is, we remember we bought so much of rum, they available in just outside. Like you buy flowers and fruits, there you buy rum. And you go, what all kind of our understanding of God. And the strange thing is you put it and it vanishes. You put it in the rock and he says, you're lucky. Bhairabnath has drank your rum. Throughout the day, this is going on. And the prasad over there is a bottle of rum. In fact, Gyan Swamiji bought it for his son. So that he said he was getting into habit of drinking. He said he will be out of drinking with this. This was the concept of God with all of us roaming around. So today, we are going to say what is Taittiriya Upanishad saying. He's saying, Satyam Jnanam Anantan Brahman Yovid Nivhita Guhayam. Goes on to say, Parame Bhyaman Saeshvate Sarvan Kaman Brahmanas Viparikshate. It means Satyam, existence, real. Satyam means real or truth, either one of them. Satya, we say, no, Satya bolo. Or ye Satya hai. You hear, no, Ram Naam Satya hai. So, like that. Jnanam, knowledge. So, who is God? Is real, is knowledge, Anantam, infinite, Brahman. So, very simple. There are no book in the world in any religion which defines God with this crystal clarity. And all right, great definition. What does it mean? It sounds something very vague. So we are going to get through that meaning and we will take on and goes ahead and says what? Sarvan Kaman. Whatever you have desires in your heart, it goes on to say, Brahmanasa Vipaschate. You will attain whatever you have in your heart, mind. If you understand Brahman, understand. Not go ahead and see God or attain Samadhi. In that yogic process, you have to attain Samadhi. Here, all it says, if you just understand. This is Vedanta, Upanishad is telling. You remember everybody, 4 Vedas, 108 Upanishads. I'll share with you all the magic of 108 some other time. It's another beautiful. We have such secrets. Telling you, there's something called Brahman, which is another name of Ishvara, God. What does it mean? Brahman means vast. Vast what? Vast sky, vast desert, vast ocean, vast country. But notice the moment you put vast something, let's say ocean, there is an end, there is a beginning. The moment you say vast, let's say vast America, vast India, there is Tibet, and there is China, and there is Pakistan, and there is ocean, vast America, there is Atlantic, there is Pacific, there is an end. Vast only is Brahman. No name after vast. What does that mean? In Sanskrit, it means expand without limit. No limit. Meaning it carries on expanding. You all have heard about sky, you heard about space, you heard about this universe. It's expanding, continuously expanding. You keep reading about it, no? And it goes on to say that Brahman is that which swells and which is vast. This is the explanation to start. And then it goes on and say, Ananta means no limit. We know this. To understand what is no limit, like in mathematics, no, Rajesh sir? MS. Limit, no limit, infinity, infinite in mathematics can be many types. No? Many infinites are there. But in Vedanta, there is only one infinite, and that is God, which is no limit. To understand no limit, you have to understand what is limit. So what is limit? In Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad goes ahead and tells us limit are of three types. Desha is space. What does that mean? So Sharada is sitting there, I'm sitting here. She's limited to that space, I'm limited to this space. You and I are limited here. We cannot be in Phoenix Mall or in Manhattan, New York. Space limit. You cannot be at two places at the same time. Kala is samaya, time. Limit are of three types. Desha, Kala, samaya, time. So what is it? Supposing you go to a graveyard and you see in the tombstone 1920 to 2000. 80 years old, somebody beginning, died. What does time limit mean? It has a beginning, it has an end. Everything in this universe has a limit, which is beginning by a time. There is something when it was created, there is something when it will get disintegrated or die. There is a time. Everything, anything you can think about in this universe, it has got a beginning, it has got an end. And Krishna going ahead and telling in Bhagavad Gita, whoever is born will die. So, in which Desha, Kala, Vastu is the third, object. What is an object limit? Very beautiful. I mean, the more you come to know about it and you see what clarity and what details, and yet so simple. And you and I were scared about studying Vedanta, no? Must be thick books, Sanskrit, we don't know anything. But when you take up the journey, you find it so interesting. It takes you to another world. What is Vastu? These are called Desha Paricheda. Paricheda is that limit. Kala Paricheda and Vastu Paricheda. Paricheda is a Sanskrit word. What is Vastu Paricheda? This book is an object, is a Vastu. But it cannot be the computer. So simple, no? So beautiful. This is the water jug. It cannot be the glass. So this is an object. I cannot be anything else. Now, taking you all from there. By the way, this this, whatever presentation we do, we put it also into the website. So you have the access to that through the link that everybody has got, Sharda. You all can, those of you who don't have, you can take up the link from Sharda ma'am. So, the moment you say Desha Paricheda and Brahman, now you see, is not limited by space. That means Brahman doesn't have to be only at one place. The moment you say, supposing there is something called Brahman, and supposing there is some that Brahman doesn't have any space limit, no Desha Paricheda, what does it mean? It means it is everywhere. No? Omnipresent. Wherever, at will, can be present. Now understand this. The moment we are going ahead with it, come limitations in time, Kala Paricheda. The moment we are saying, and Krishna slokas, I've written it down here. He's saying, Jatasthaya Dhruva Mritya. Anybody who is born will die. Whereas in Kala Paricheda, it's saying everything that we know has a limit and climb, but supposing there is something, supposing, as per Upanishad, is there, it means it is not limited by a time, meaning there is no beginning, there is no end. This is the definition of God we are coming to. There is no beginning, there is no end. If it is so, you will ask immediately, then why can't we see? Why can't it be, supposing it says space everywhere? That means, think, in a dualistic religion, they will say in that temple, in that church, in that mosque, very powerful, go to Kedarnath, Badrinath, or Kailash Mansarovar, you will experience God. No? Or when you die, you will see him in heaven. This is the dualistic religion. In the Advaita, he's saying, if it is so, and if it is true, and he says it is real, so I should be able to see God just now here. There is no Desha Paricheda, no limit. So God should be everywhere. That means right now here. Kala Paricheda, that means no beginning and end. Anytime, everywhere. It's called Anantam. This should be at this time, right now, here. This is the power of Advaita Vedanta. The more we are understanding it, and you will see it today, you will go away experiencing it and seeing it, also perceiving it. And then comes not limited in time, which is eternal, Brahman beyond time, and it is not before this time or before that time, and not object. That means we say, no, God is everywhere. God is in everything. We hear this saying, we say it. We don't understand it really. And if we must have had, I used to ask this question like a monkey, when the monks used to visit our home, they used to come very often. I used to ask them, why can't I see God? Today's children also ask this question. Why can't I? If God is in everything, why can't I see God in this book, in that glass? I should be able to show you. And if Upanishad is right, we should see it today. And you will know it's not just some story for a child. It is so. So there is, the moment you say object, there is no object in the world which is without Brahman, which is God, which is Ishvara. See, this is what it means when you're saying vast, swelling. And it is not engulfing, it is not covering up, but everything is in it. It's just the other way. You know, I put this chaddar on and I say chaddar is covering everything. God is covering. No, everything is in it. This is what is called Advaitam Anantam. When there is nothing else other than God, it is called non-dual. In other words, is Advaita. Dual is what? You are separate, I am separate. And have you realized, today we have covered this earlier in Mandakya, that the problem and the suffering that we have is because you isolate yourself with what? Name, form and function. Nama Rupa Babhara. Shankaracharya's words. We put ourselves a name. This is Robin Ghosh. That means I am not Sharada Ghosh. I am separate. We are different. The moment you isolate yourself, in other words, separatedness. The moment we are separate, suffering begins. How? We've covered it. We'll see at the end of it if there is time. Otherwise, we'll take it on again. There is no suffering if you're one. We will have separate body, separate mind, separate name. We will have. That will continue to be. But if you know, how do we do that? Not very complicated. Let's say your gold bangle, gold chain, gold earring, gold tiara, gold paije. Notice tiara, paije, bangle, ring, everything is different. Different name, different form, different function. But everything, if they realize I am gold, you notice it's one. Everybody knows I'm gold. If I take away the gold from the tiara, the paije with the ring, that doesn't exist. It vanishes. If I take away wood from this table, wood will vanish. If I take away, I often use this statement when I'm talking to parents. Suppose I give you a statement, waves have water in it. Correct? Not correct. How not correct? See, this glass has water in it. You'll get what is this? It has got water in it. I can separate the water and separate the glass. No? Now it becomes what? Two objects. Glass full of water was one object. Now I make water separate, glass separate. Correct? Can I take away the water from the wave? And if I do, will the wave be there? What wave? Even ocean won't be there if I take away the water from the ocean. So there is no water in the ocean also. There is no water in the dirty puddle on the road. There is no water in the river, in the waterfalls. There is no water in it. So what is it? If it is water in it, I can take away the water, no? Water in the glass, I can take away the water. If I take away the water from the waterfalls, what remains? Can you understand the Vedantic truth? It's so powerful and yet so simple. All you have to just get into it, to understand it. We will understand today in the similar way. So, it goes ahead and tells that if you take away something from you and me, we cease to exist. And that alone is the truth. What is that? We will just come to it. So now, object. We talked about the last one. It means not, there are no other object other than this one. And this one, Ishvara, Brahman, exists in every. The moment you say none other, non-dual. Dual is two. But there is no two now. God is in everything. And we will experience that today. How is that? If God is in everything, God is in this, God is in that glass, God is in the computer, God is in you and me, then why are we separate? And why can't I see God in this? But we will see as we proceed. So, Brahman is not only non-dual, that is Advaitam, it is also Ekam, only one, not two. How? Understand it very simply. Otherwise it will be complicated. For modern man and woman, you will look at it straight away understanding. Otherwise it will become confusing. So many waves, different shape, form, tsunami wave, bigger wave, medium wave, and giant wave, and bubble, and froth. No? We just see. If you stop looking at them as wave, in other words, name, form, function. Bubble, froth, spray, wave. Don't look at them as names, but look at them as a huge mass of water. Supposing the ocean is absolutely calm. You realize now, everything is one. But very powerful statement by Vedanta. See, wave cannot sustain without water. Correct? But the water can be anything. Water can be a glass water here. It doesn't have to be a wave. It can be rain. It can be moisture in the cloud. Are you with me? So God could be everywhere, in anything. But you and I are like, if we are the waves, we generally consider that all of us are like waves and there's a huge ocean of life. We continue to be as wave, but we continue to be separate because I am a wave. So this Robin Ghosh wave is playing around, having good fun with his friends. And one friend says, "Hey, Robin Ghosh, can you see that black line there?" I say, "Yeah, what is that line? Have you seen it before?" I said, "No." "You don't know what is that?" I said, "No." He said, "That's a shoreline." I said, "Really? What is a shoreline?" He said, "You are going there." I said, "I'm going there." "Really? Why?" He said, "Because you will go there and die there." I said, "Shut up. Why should I die? What is dying?" He said, "You don't know." I said, "No. You will not be wave anymore." I said, "Really? Now I'm worried." "What do you mean by I will not be wave anymore?" He said, "You'll become water." My friend tells me. I said, "What is water?" He said, "You don't know what is water?" I said, "No." He said, "You are water." I said, "Shut up. I'm a wave. Why should I be water?" "You are water. You want to go be water, go be water." This guy says, "What a fool." He goes away. Another friend comes in. I like him. He's a Vedantist friend. Vedantist friend comes in and says, "Robin goes, why is the face so small?" I said, "That monkey told me just now I'm going there and I'm going to die and I'm water." So the Vedanta friend says, "That is true." I said, "Really? What is dying?" He said, "You will become water. You will become what you are." I said, "I'm water?" He said, "Yes." He said, "You touch yourself, top, bottom, inside, outside, side, whichever side. You are water and water alone." I say, "Okay, but listen, I don't want to die." He said, "That's possible." I said, "Really? What do I have to do?" He says, "In the middle of the ocean, I'm a wave and playing with lots of other wave friends." He said, "Become calm, become still, become silent." Silent, calm in the ocean. Just imagine, if the wave suddenly becomes calm and silent, what happens to what does the wave become now?
Water.
It becomes the water of the ocean. It becomes the water of the ocean. It becomes the ocean. You can't demarcate now that this was Robin Ghosh wave. Every wave has become one. And this is what is in Advaita Vedanta is called moksha. You become one with everyone. Notice suffering vanish. Why? Because you attain oneness. Now understanding this way as we proceed, so he says, Ekam, non-dual. Advaita, not two. Going ahead, Vedanta says that God is everywhere. Satyam, truth, reality, existence, in all the time must be there. It must be, that means now also. So you and I can't say that I have to go to so-and-so temple, then only I will wake up. It's right now, wherever you are. And this is the power of the Advaita Vedanta. There is nothing apart from this Brahman, Ishvara, God, whatever we are talking about. And the beauty is, there are lots of people who are staunch terrorist atheists. They don't believe in God. Even they can realize it. So Vivekananda gives a beautiful definition. He says in the ancient day, atheist is the one who did not believe in God. Atheist in today's time, or the Vedanta time, is the one who does not believe in himself. Who doesn't believe in his own self is an atheist. So who doesn't believe? So notice that, it's very difficult for us to prove this is God. There was a signboard, billboard in Calcutta. Recently I saw, it says, God defined is no God at all. Meaning, God is beyond definition. Not true. Vedanta has explained it and has defined it very clearly. You and I will understand it. So, you will naturally say, okay, show me God in that glass. We will show you in just short while. You all know about this very famous Prahlada, Narasimha avatar. Yes, Hiranyakashipu is a monster, huge. He was a king. And the worst part, he had a son. The Hiranyakashipu used to say, I am God. I am the supreme. I've defeated everybody. You worship me. Everybody used to tell that. But his own son is to worship Vishnu. You all know the story. And time and again, this story is being replayed and played and played and played. It's a fantastic story. Hiranyakashipu was very upset. Son's name is Prahlad. Those of you, just for recollection. One day, Prahlad will be about 8, 9, 10 years of age. Hiranyakashipu tells him in rage, again you're worshipping that stupid guy, your God. I want to see your God. Where is your God? So Prahlad says, he's everywhere. He said, everywhere? He's in this pillar. There was a huge pillar, massive pillar, palace. He said, yes. He had that gada, that huge mace with which he strikes and kicks the pillar. And the pillar shattered because he was really very strong. And emerges Narasimha avatar, half lion, half man. Why? Because this, the monster demon king, he had prayed and prayed to Brahma and Shiva and like that, and he had got boons, meaning he had said, no human being, no animal, no natural, not in land, not in sky, not in earth, I would die. So Vishnu avatar, to save his devotees, which is his son only, Hiranyakashipu Prahlad, to save him, he came in this form. He is half animal, half man. And he said, no weapon should be able to kill me. He had taken all the boons, like that to safeguard. So he put him on his knee. So neither land, nor air, nor water. And he tore open his chest with his hand, fingernails, and he drank the blood. Now this is how he was killed. This play goes on. There was once in this story I heard, in Orissa, one of the Ramakrishna Mutt. These boys, who are being in that school, being trained, they are children from all castes and creed, Ramakrishna school. So this play was going on, and young boys, 10, 12, 15 years old, were playing this game. So one of the boy who is dressed as the demon king, he asks Prahlada, where is the climax comes in when he kicks the pillar and the Narasimha avatar emerges. So the demon king asks, is he in this pillar? And it just so happened there were more than one pillar. And this boy was very smart. Boy knew behind which pillar his friend who is acting as Narasimha avatar is hiding. So that when he kicks it, and if he kicks the wrong pillar and nobody comes out, people will start laughing. No? He was very smart. So he said, the king asked, is he in this pillar? And the boy says, no, he's in that pillar. And everybody started clapping for this boy. So we should be able to see God in this glass, in this computer, in this book, and you and me in another little time. God indeed is Brahman, Ishvara is in everything, in you and me. So what happens with this knowingness? You become fearless. Suddenly you realize, wow. And I'm not limited by this little body, flesh, bone. You will suddenly see that you will get 100 out of 100. I had done a little reel yesterday for our boys who are appearing for final. You notice Shraddha Ma'am's children are doing 100 out of 100. A lot of them. So we keep talking to them, academic subject, training, all of them, worldwide. 5,200 schools, 5 to 6 lakh students are appearing. They just given this information and they're doing wonders. This reality, knowledge, infinite. 3 things. Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. Reality, real or truth is Sat. Jnanam is knowledge, and infinite, Anantam, is Ishvara, Brahman. Let's look all around us. What is real? You say everything is real. Whatever I can touch and taste and feel and smell. We say no. We just now saw Robin Bush and Shraddha Ma'am there. So where? In Conrad Hotel. Show me. You first straight away say, show me. I want to see it. When I see it, then I'll believe. We want to experience things with our 5 senses. But we forget the 5 senses are limited. And if the 5 senses feed you, let's say you see this book. You're seeing it. Your eyes are working perfect. Ears are working perfect. All 5 senses. But tell me, if you're unconscious, can you see? Eyes are working. Ears are working. Touch, taste, smell, everything is working okay. But you are in deep sleep. Can you see the world? If I am being anesthetized for operation and lying just before OT, can I see the world? No. If I'm in coma, world vanishes for me. So something is missing. And that something is what we are talking about right now. So we'll get on to this. So Satya means truth and reality, which is existence. And Jnanam is knowledge and Anantam is infinite. Now Upanishad says, apply this definition. If it is real, it must be God. So, what is reality is Brahman. God is here. This is God. What is God? God has got no limit in time, space, and object. But how? If God is in this is limited to this. It cannot be that glass. It cannot be the computer. Can you see the clash? And this clash we have to resolve. And this is where the doubt comes in. And we say, how can it be? You're talking all nonsense. The Upanishad goes ahead and gives us beautifully. We say, take anything, take any object. Brahman, we are talking about no limit space, no limit in time, no limit in object. So now, this self-contradictions, which has to be solved, and the Upanishad goes ahead and gives us beautiful explanations and understanding, which you and I will have it soon enough. This self-contradiction will have to be sorted out. Whenever in Upanishad, you have these kind of contradictions, quite a few places. It is against all what you and I have got to understand. Just now, right now, I just gave you a situation. If God is in everywhere and everything and all time, then God should be in this book. Show me God in this. Show me God in that glass of water. So what Upanishad says, when that happens, then you use it as an implied meaning. Implied meaning. Like what? Implied meaning. Robin Bush appeared to be a nice man. Meaning, Robin Bush appeared to be nice man, actually not. You notice the implied meaning? So now apply similar implied meaning into understanding this. So, we are talking about what are our realities. Our realities, if you look at carefully, is how do I experience this book? How do I experience myself? I say, there was a talk going on. Let's say, what is his name from Vijay? Vijay? Srikantananda, no? Vijay, Vijay. What is his name? Swamiji? Vijay Swamiji? Srikantananda.
No, not Srikantananda.
No, what is the name?
Not Srikantananda.
It will come.
Sarvapriyananda. Sarvapriyananda.
No, Sarvapriyananda is another Swami who came. I'm talking about Vyasis. Who came, who took classes in our school. What is the name? Srikantananda. Okay, Srikantananda is the president of Pune Ramakrishna Mission. He is, it'll come. Let's say you hear he's taking a class. Let's say in Dandabarang Manch. So I ask you, were you there? He said, yes. I said, who else was there? You give some of the names that you saw. I ask you, were you there? He said, yeah. I ask you, how do you know that? Would you say you go and check the register I've signed? Will you say check the electronic where I swipe my finger or eye scanner? You will say, I was there. I said, yeah, you were there. I want to know, how do you know that? How do you know that you're a man? How do you know you're a girl? How do you know that? Think. And this is what I do with the children. I ask them, you're a girl, right? Yes, sir. How do you know that? Come on, sir, I know it. I said, I know you know it. How? Think, Vijay sir. How? This is where Upanishad is coming in. So simply, so beautifully it goes there. Remember I had this dialogue with you? Yeah? So, we talk about our reality, our truth, things around us. which has got shape and body and a name and a form and functions. Like the table as a function, this chair is a function. And how do we experience these realities? We say because it exists. This camera stand exists. What is exist? Is. It is there, the book is there, I am there, I was there. Existence. Now look at the world as existence or as is. Table is. Computer is. Planet Earth is. Himalayan mountain is. In Nepal and north of India is there. If you go there, you will experience. Isness is another word in the reality of experiences is what you said, sat, existence. You tell me one thing, anything, including space. Notice space exists. Mandaka Upanishad we talked about, we have three existences, right? Waking state, we go into sleep and dream, sleeping, dreaming, dream, sleep state, and third is deep sleep state. There are three existence every one of us have, and the only existence. You talk about any situation in your life, either you're waking or you're sleep, dream, or you're in deep sleep when you don't know anything in the world, including that too. But something is there in your deep sleep also. Because when you wake up, you say, I had a wonderful sleep. How do you know that? Your body you didn't know. Your senses were lacking. You had no thoughts. Everything was totally zero. We call blank, blackness. But that blackness called absence of experience. In other words, experiencing the absence of experience. Like, I'm experiencing the absence of an elephant here. Are you with me? There is no elephant here. How am I doing it? I'm experiencing the absence. Similarly, in deep sleep, there are the three states Mandaka Upanishad says, which is Om. See that Om there now? A, U, and M. A is waking state. U is the dream sleep state, and is the deep sleep state. Now we think there are three states. Mandaka Upanishad going and saying, no, actually you are not the waking one, not the dreaming one, not the deep sleep one. Which one is it? In the Omkar only three. And Omkar explains everything of your universe. A, U, and M. A and U, if you join together, in Sanskrit, Sandiksha becomes O. That's how we don't say Aum. We say Om. That Om is A plus U and M. Where is the fourth one? This fourth one has got a name. I'm going slightly away, but it's important at this stage. It's called the silence, called Turiya. Turiya means fourth. Turiya word actually came out, Shankaracharya's guru's guru, Gaudapada. Shankaracharya's guru, Govindapada, Govindapada's guru, Gaudapada. About 1600 years ago. Shankaracharya about 1400 years ago. He left his body around 32. Should be about 1550, 1600 years ago or so. Gaudapada used this word, Turiya. That's how it is got. Actual, it means fourth. The fourth. Chaturtham Mannate. This is how he goes ahead and says. Okay. What is this fourth? Fourth is, see, when we say Om, depending on my breath, and then I will stop. What is it? The fourth one. And then the fourth.
Silence.
Which is the fourth?
Silence.
Silent. You take a deep breath, and we do the meditation today on that. Om. And then I stop and I take a deep breath. That's the silence, which is called Turiya, which as per Mandakya is you, which is Ishvara, which is Brahman. Who is there? It is you. It's not anybody else. And this is where, what is you? First is existence. You are existing, no? If you are not existing, you won't be doing it. So you are. And in the technical language, you can say you is. You are there. One is existence. So, when we say reality or truth, truth is what exists. Let's say we love to have mashed potato, hot potato. You heat the potato, boil the potato in boiling water. Think, truth, I'm talking about truth. Is the hot potato hot? Is it its original quality or is it borrowed quality? Borrowed is lie. Truth is its own quality. Is it getting too much? See, it borrows its heat from the hot water. Hot water borrows its heat from the hot pan. Hot pan borrows its heat from the hot fire. But the hot fire has not borrowed it. It is called intrinsic heat. This is what it means real or truth. So you have something which is not borrowed. Otherwise it is borrowed. Other things, this body, flesh, name, form, etc. It can change also. Now going ahead with this, in the telling us all these objects which are all there, it is all different from each other. Why? Because it's got name, form and function. We all are different from each other. But how? Different from each other is because of a name, body and form. That's called separated feeling, separatedness. And that called brings the suffering. The moment you become one, let's say the waves became calm. Firstly, what? It has to become calm. If it is turbulent and restless, it cannot be one. So to be one, and that's why we sit and do meditation, to be calm and to realize that calm truth within. And when you tap into that, that is your Ishvara. This doesn't mean that this is what I'm proving right now. You're going to experience it. So, understanding this existence is everywhere. Where is that place? Tell me one object. Rajiv sir, should be a good challenge. Should be a good challenge. Find out one object which is without existence. Meaning which is without is. Vijay sir? Vijay sir loves challenge. Find out an object, with me, which is without existence, which is without is. We say, I am. This table is. The stand is. The planet Earth is. The ocean is. The mountain is. Dolphin is. Dog is. But we are used to not thinking like this. We think in a Western mind. And what is it? This thing is. Vedanta saying, no. It is the existence, which is isness, has chosen to become the computer. The ocean of isness has chosen to become your son, your daughter, your grandson, you, your wife, your house, your car, your money in the bank. What is it? That existence, isness has chosen to be. Water has chosen to be a bubble, a froth, water in the ocean, water in this glass. So remember, wave has got no choice. It has to have the water. But a water is choice. Water can be a glass over here for me to drink, or salty saline water in the ocean, or rain, or waterfall, or river, or pond, or RO water tank, wherever. Water can choose to be. That existence can choose. But you and I have to have that existence, isness. Without that, which is an object? Think about any object. What is the opposite of isness? Is not. They cannot be an object. Vedantic truth. I said, wow, Robin goes, good learning. You don't have an object. We're just trying to think of an object. They cannot be an object which is without isness. The opposite of isness is what? Is not. Opposite of existence is non-existence. So if I say computer is, elephant is not existing in this room. Why? Because it is not there. You with me? So without existence, you and I cannot be there. And the definition of God is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahman. Satyam is existence. Satyam is, Sat is truth, or Sat is real. Real is what? Existence. Now, apply that. If God, Brahman, is existing, is he existing in this? Isness. It is not a color, it's not a glass, it's not a metal, it is isness. Does the glass of water exist? So the ocean of existence in the universe is Ishvara, is God. Starting from, now supposing I smatter this glass, I break it. You say glass is not there. Vedanta says, no, broken glass is. You say, okay, I will smother it into particles. Vedanta says particle is. You say, okay, I will annihilate the whole universe. Nothing exists. Now, where is your Sir existence, Mr. Brahmavid? Without this, where is your existence? So Upanishad gives Shankaracharya gives the beautiful karika on that. He says, name, form and function comes in a part of Maya to give the reality to you and me to exist. When it is not there, existence is there, but existence cannot come into reality without name, form and function, which is called Maya. You keep saying that, wo to Maya hai. That is what? It's that name, form and function. So if there was nothing existing in this universe, existence existed, but it doesn't have a name, form and function. When does the name, form and function come? The moment something comes. Whether it's the planet or galaxy, the stars, star is. The moment it comes in, existence is there. What happens to existence then? It is in supernova condition. It is in sleep condition, which you see, you hear about Vishnu, Ananta Nidra. What is that? That is that state, waiting to create. And from his Navi, as per to Brahma, the creator of the universe, this is this mythological way. Now, second thing is, that is existence. Understood that? Now comes Satyam Jnanam. What is knowledge? Knowledge, whatever you're doing, learning, eating, sleeping, playing, enjoying, having fun, you have to, can you do all that without you being conscious? We just talked about it. If you're in deep sleep, you don't know what is happening around. If you're unconscious, you are disconnected from this universe. No? If you're in coma, world vanishes from me. And worst is when I'm dead. When I'm dead, this body will be cremated or buried. But something happens which is something else is within me. That's called Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. Four things. Mind, intelligent, vritti, and ego. These four things, they make a bubble. When my body dies, they are called Sukshma Sharira. This is called Sthula Sharira. And there is another called Karana Sharira. So Sukshma, Sthula, Karana. Sukshma Sharira makes the bubble, and as per Vedanta, goes and finds the next father and the mother till when? Till it attains oneness with Brahman. When it ends with Brahman, then it will go beyond Karana, meaning beyond cause and effect. Now it can choose. How? Let's say in an ocean, lots of waves. Robin goes wave. And my Vedanta friend says, yes, you don't have to die. What do I have to do? I have to realize I am water. What do we have to realize? We have to realize, as you and me right now, is what is Brahman? What is Brahman? Brahman is that isness, existence. Ocean of existence has chosen to be the waterfall, the dolphin, the dog, or Vijay, or Rajiv, or me, or you, or anything around that you perceive. Everything. And that's why I call God is everywhere. That is existence. Second is the consciousness. Without the consciousness, you cannot perceive anything, you cannot do anything. Nothing in the world is possible if you are not having consciousness. Zero consciousness is dead. Little consciousness is coma. Little better is unconscious. Little better is deep sleep. Little better is dream sleep. Little better awakened but defocused. Like we used to be in the classroom. We are in the class, and when the class is over, I ask the student, what was she talking about? Defocus. And partially focused, partially learning, totally focused, 100% learning. And that's where comes 100 out of 100. You got my point? So now, what does it require? Satyam Jnanam. Jnanam is consciousness, knowledge. The moment these two come in, now, consciousness and this is infinite. Infiniteness and reality. This is real. How is it real? Because it exists. And now the infinite is going to time, concept of time. We talked about beyond time. Now look at it, what we were saying. If God is everywhere, God is Anantam, God is, what is the definition? Definition, Taittiriya Upanishad, summarize, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. And it goes ahead and saying that this differences from each other is just because of those very name, form, and function. My color of the skin, color of the hair, my age, my body, man, woman, gender, all that are the differences, name, form, and function. You're separate from your daughter because of the two different bodies. But if you now realize that this body is just an existence, but actually my wife, my husband, my children, my parent, my dog, my dolphin, my chair, all of us are only two things, existence and consciousness, which is actually one, which is Turiya, which is that fourth of the Mandukya Upanishad, Turiya, silence. Then you suddenly realize it is everywhere, with everyone. Coming in, that is one continuous existence. Existence has no breaking. You and I, we may go beyond existence when our body dies. Which will die? The body will die. But which is existence? That existence is me only. I'm from that ocean of existence. You know, if you look at it, from the ocean of gold, I take little gold out and make a bangle. The bangle I melt it. Bangle is gone, but the gold is still there. Now that gold you can use a pajib or tiara or a ring, you choose, or a necklace. So that it might sound a little complicated, and soon, the moment you start to experience it, and this is what we'll do in our meditation. So, names and forms manifest in isness. We are not used to thinking like this. We are used to thinking, I can see you. I saw you. I say, okay, you saw him attending that class? He said, yes. I said, did you attend the class? He said, yes. I said, how do you know that? How do you know you were there? You will say, ask him. Generally, we do that. I am saying, okay, ask him. He knows that you were there. I'm asking, how do you know that you were there? How do you know that? That consciousness in you. Mom, can I have that chart, please? That consciousness in you, which is jnanam, which is knowledge, which gives you awareness. What is it? You are aware you are sitting here now. How? Start to look at it as a Vedantist now. You are in this ashram. How? I'm there. Do you mind? I said, I know you were there. How do you know that? So this chart, we made it out for the children to understand. See this chart? This is the world. This world. The tree, the mountain, the dog, the dolphin, the roses. They're all being picked up by the five senses and the body and the five senses through the brain comes through the five senses to, let's say, I see a rose. Rose doesn't enter my eye. A light falls on the rose that makes the picture, which comes into the optical nerve, and in the optical lens, it makes a picture. That light. And that sends tiny, tiny particles of signal into the brain neurons. The brain neuron, this is for you to understand, not to remember. Don't let it come from. I'm an art student. I just heard it from you. So what is it doing? It is going tiny, tiny particles of electricity into the brain. Two neurons make connections or more neurons. Makes it synapses. Neuron is temporary. Synapses is permanent. Now that synapses send the message. Till today, nobody knows in the world, in the particularly Western world, nobody knows how does that happen from the neuron brain to the mind. But Vedanta talked about thousands of years ago. And that is called this. Can you see the reflective consciousness? This is like the moonlight gets the light from the sun. But when you look at the moon, you never say, this is not moonlight, this is sun's light. Same way, you and I are unconscious of our consciousness. We are unconscious of our isness. We are conscious of our muscle. We are conscious of our look and color and creed and house and property and bank account, but we are forgetting the isness part of it. So we need to, as a Vedanta, start to change the paradigm a little bit, the way of looking at it. Now, this reflective consciousness is nothing else but the moonlight from the sun falls on the moon and comes as the light. Mind is the moon, which is here behind the brain. And that in turn gives me an understanding through the memory and through my intelligence. This is the rose. This consciousness is body dies, body will go away. The water is there. Wave will fall. Waves are like you and me. Consciousness is always there. Consciousness is never annihilated. Existence is never annihilated. It is always there. It will always be there. When you said, let's destroy everything, pralaya, everything goes away. But that consciousness, existence will remain. And As and when again the cycle of the creation comes in, that starts off. And from there, now you're understanding that names and forms manifest in isness, and when the names and forms are not there, everything is resolved back into that Maya. And when that isness continues, that is now is not, because name and form is missing, you cannot experience that isness. To experience the isness, you have to have name and form. To experience moonlight, you have to have the sunlight on it. Now, a very important, very nice metaphor I had. What happens when the moon, sunlight falls on the moon, and moon sends it to earth? Vijay sir, it will intrigue you. Now the moon turns its light to sun when the eclipse happens. What is that? You know what is that? Earth becomes blank. Moon's light goes back to sun. Sun's light falls on the moon, goes back to sun. It's like I'm taking a torch and showing the sun. But earth goes blank. In other words, when the Paramahamsa realizes I am Brahman, I am the sun, solar power and me, we are not different, meaning that sun's light and my light is one. Earth, samsara, is there, but he is there. Let's switch it off. I am now still a wave in the ocean, but I know I am not a wave. So Paramahamsa Ramakrishna, suffering from throat cancer, 3 days to go to die. And Hari Maharaj, Turiya Maharaj, I've talked about it many times, comes and says, Thakur, how are you today morning? And Thakur says, my throat is paining, I can't eat anything, can't swallow. And just imagine, Hari Maharaj, Turiyananda Swami. He says, but Thakur, you are looking as if you're in Ananda, you're in bliss. Just imagine, 3 days to go to leave his body, he was in so much of pain. And instead of being a cancer patient, throat cancer, getting bugged, what's wrong with you? Are you blind or something? He didn't say that. He said in Bengali, Shala dhore pelese, meaning rascal has caught me. He knows I am not a wave. He knows I am not this body. Turiya Maharaj himself, there was one operation was to be done on his arm. There was a bad boil, and that boil was to be, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, how many has he got? One, no? Yeah, come. Sure. How does it look? This is one of the Sharadama's Prerana. We just finished writing it. It's about 75, 78 pages. This is my first proof done. What is written on it?
If God really exists, why do we then suffer?
If God exists, then why do we suffer? If mommy exists, why should baby suffer? No? This is what I dealt with it on the Vedanta angle. Let's see how does it turn out. We have to do the draft correction. All right, taking on, going into from manifestation of isness. Now we are going into the objects. Objects, what do? They borrow existence, like the moonlight borrows sunlight. Hot potato borrowed heat. It's called borrowed. It's not called intrinsic. Not intrinsic is truth. Fire, intrinsic property is heat. You take it inside a refrigerator or North Pole, it will still be hot. But hot potato will lose its heat soon enough. So, the object's qualities, glass exists because the isness, the existence is glass, is the right way to think about it. So it is the pure object, which is according to the Vedanta, is now experienceable. Experienceableness has come in because of the name, form and function into the existence. And you realize it because of your consciousness. Understood these two? So what is Ishvara, what is God, what is Brahman? Is Satyam, Jnanam. The Sat is existence and Jnanam is knowledge. Now, this existence is the glass. Where is it? Everywhere. We are used to seeing the glass as a matter. And matter is what? Remember your science definition. Anything that occupies space. But existence and consciousness does not occupy space. So you cannot experience it unless you put it a name, form and function. Got it? Now, going into pure existence, according to Vedanta, continues but is not experienceable anymore. As per Taittiriya Upanishad, it is not apart from existence. It does not become non-existent. Pure existence is not limited by space, is not limited by time, is not limited, remember, Desha Kala Vastu, not limited by object. Pure existence is everywhere. Water is in the froth, in the bubble, in the spray, in the wave, in the ocean, in the river, in the dirty puddle on the road, in the glass for drinking. Water is everywhere. Some water is got different, some water is different. That you and I put it. So see, 2 glasses of water, looking same. One you drink it, you say, you put sugar in it. Other one you drink it, you say it's salt. How do you know? Now you're experiencing the water by taste, but actually that both are water. Understanding it? So, not limited by time or object or space. Going into nothing in the universe can be there without this existence. So existence is not a part, it is. Part is, I have a part, one hand, part of my body. But isness, that I am here right now, that you're experiencing this monkey talking to you, is what you're experiencing with your consciousness. Now, there is nothing apart from existence. There is no second thing other than existence. Non-dual, Advaita, Ishvara. Where is it? Everywhere. Now you can talk about that anomaly which we had, that if it is everywhere, it is Anantam, it was there and it will be there. Now you can see, now you can experiencing it in these 2 terms. So, existence is non-dual, nothing is apart from the existence. There is not one thing in this universe apart from existence. Now comes the reality of the knowledge. Knowledge is infinite, is Brahman. We talked about it. So here, what do you consider knowledge? What is knowledge? If you look at it in the Vedantic angle, everything. You are experiencing a happy thought. That experience is because you're conscious. That is your knowledge. You're experiencing, I'm angry, I'm bored. That is your knowledge right now. We're talking about knowledge is limited in space, in time, and object. Like, Guru's knowledge is not my knowledge. That's why I'm disciple and he is Guru. I also have knowledge which I forget. I remembered it in my school days. Charles' law, Boyle's law, Faraday's law. I don't remember it now. These were knowledge then. Now it is no more. But knowledge, if it is knowledge, Jnanam, how can it be? We are saying God is Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Jnanam, but it has got limit. It has got limited of space, limited of time. I don't remember it now. I used to remember it. I studied it just day before only. I forgot. It can't be knowledge then. So what is it? Going ahead. So how do you understand knowledge to be infinite? No end of time, space, and object, which is to be Brahman. Brahman is Ishvara, God. If knowledge has to be, you have to understand that. Now, anything that you're experiencing right now, you cannot experience it unless you're conscious. You cannot experience the object unless it isness was there. You cannot experience any knowledge unless you're conscious. Consciousness, does it have limit of desha kala vastu, time, space, and object? It doesn't. Consciousness is always there. So just like that, you are experiencing that consciousness here. Experience that we gain through, as per Vedanta, throughout the day, from morning till late night, when we get off to sleep, and then common to everything is one thing, and now you are Vedantis, you know it is consciousness. That consciousness is common. Existence is common in all experiences of time, space, and object. Similarly, knowledge, everything common is consciousness. So that now the definition of Ishvara is isness, is consciousness. So you call it Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. The moment you realize it, you are in Ananda. You are in that Turiya. You say, no, Thula Sharir, Sukshma Sharir, and Karana Sharir. Karana Sharir is that time. So anything that we know is our awareness. That awareness is right now. You are aware. You were aware you were attending the talk. When I ask you, how do you know that? That's how you know it, because of your consciousness, your awareness. But understand one thing. This chart will tell you, understand it. This is awareness. Okay? This is not consciousness. This is moonlight. It is not sunlight. Though moonlight is not separate from sunlight. Sun's light only falls on the moonlight. It is like wave is not separate from water. But water can be separate. Consciousness can be separate. This is, did you understand this? The little metaphor? Metaphor is awareness is not consciousness, but is because of consciousness. Moonlight is because of the sunlight, but it is not sunlight, meaning it doesn't have. Let me give you a simple story. You see, suddenly you find, let's say everything is dark, and you find little light is sparkling there in the picture or in the wall. Sometimes happens, no, in our house, something like a light, and you want to see where is this light coming from. Everything is dark. So the gentleman goes from the hut and he goes to the window and he sees there was a little pot. Somebody, must have wife or daughter, had kept it to feed the water to the birds. So that pot was there and the sun's light is falling on it. So it has got a little sun inside. If you look into that pot, you will see a little sun. And that sun is giving that light inside that light. And now you look at the sun and you look up and you see the blazing sun there. 10 buckets on the garden. Little metaphor. All have water. You look at each bucket is shining and each bucket has got a little sun inside. You must have seen it, no? That little sun is refracting from there. Now, imagine one bucket is cracked. Water is leaking out. What will the gardener do? He will pour the water into a new bucket. That little sun goes with the new bucket into the new bucket with the water. Old bucket is discarded. body is gone. This is called the transmigration or punarjanam. You take a new bucket now and continue your journey till you become Paramahansa. As per Vedanta, everybody will. Our journey is, Vijay sir says, where is the need to do it in this birth? So we have a race on to do it this birth alone. Vijay says that I have a lot of time. So anything that we know is in our awareness. Anything. You're sitting next to somebody, you are aware. That awareness is because of the consciousness, but not consciousness. It cannot become the sun. That's why it is not. It cannot become the consciousness. That sunlight inside cannot become the sun. It's like another metaphor. I look into my face in the mirror. Where is me? I will say there. You will say no. I say, what do you mean? Can't you see me? You say, that's not you. That's your image. The real you is here. It's only an image. Similarly, that little sun is only an image. Now, if the mirror is cracked, my face will look cracked. Mirror is shining, my face will look shining. That consciousness, if it is clean, pure, I'm shining. And towards the end, I'll give you a stotram on that, and which we should do meditation in our. So without consciousness, there is no knowledge, there is no understanding, there is no wisdom. Without consciousness, meaning dead body. So every knowledge grounded is in the consciousness, and pure consciousness, there is no limitation of space or object or time. Desha kala vastu, that space, time and object. So pure existence is Sat, pure knowledge is Chit, Anantam, infinite. This is the going into Anantam Brahman, infinite is the Brahman. Pure existence, pure consciousness, infinity is Brahman. This is the name of the Ishvara, the definition of God as per Taittiriya Upanishad 2.1. This pure consciousness neither can be created nor can be destroyed. It always is. Consciousness always is, always there. Now, if you and I can find a way to tap into it, is called programming, goal setting, subconscious mind. Daniel Coleman's Focus book. He's talking through the subconscious mind. Actually, he doesn't realize it is through that. And just imagine this, even Thompson is talking about waking. What is waking? Mandakya Upanishad. What is dreaming? Mandakya Upanishad. What is being? Being is Sat. Is consciousness, being. Imagine they're studying and writing book, and you and I, other than very few I know, we don't want to study. So this is why our intention was to start spreading and knowing. It'll make us all take the journey together. So our unhappiness comes out of a sense of limitation. And that limitation comes from us not knowing who we really are. So that infiniteness, the moment it comes in through that knowledge. That is called Jnanam, Chit, pure consciousness, Anantam, not limited. It is bliss, Ananda, the moment you know it. So that pure existence, consciousness, bliss is in every heart, everybody. All you have to do, that is why it is called being still, being silent. In Om, A, U, Ma, A and U makes it O. So we do chanting meditation. We'll do that today, mindfulness. So your true nature is existence, is consciousness. And goes on to sloka, Vido Nahitam Goham. That pure existence, consciousness, bliss is in every heart. In Sanskrit, it's talking about. And that's what it means, Aham Brahmasmi, Mahi Brahma. So, Before we began this journey, I was a human in search of Ishvara, God, knowledge of Vedanta. As you go through this and you learn anything, instead of trying to find God now, I am that pure existence, pure consciousness. Where is that God? It is within me. I don't have to search anywhere, somewhere. It is me. What do I have to do? I have to realize it. I have to taste it. Taste the mango. Taste the sugar or sweet. So I am that infinite ocean in which all these beings arise like waves, like my family members, friends. This is by Ashtavakra Gita. He's talking about May Anantam. I am that infinite ocean in which all these beings arise like waves. Khelanti. And it is playing, it is fighting. And then it merges where? Into me. You see what? I'm Vishnu or something? Exactly. You are that. And this is from Ashtavakra. Existence of reality, knowledge, infinity is Brahman. That's what it means of Aham Brahmasmi. We don't have to go away from this world into the mountain cave to sit down and start doing the meditation. You have to just realize what? Who you are. So those people who run away, Vivekananda said, leaving the samsara, husbands and wives, and run away to cave and children and saying, I am going to God. He said, they have missed the boat. And he's saying those who jump in headlong into the samsara and enjoy food, wine, and etc., and family life, they too have missed the boat. He said, then what's the answer? Answer is be in the family, play the role with purity, with truth, and meet your commitment with honesty. You will find you will have no shortage of what? Everything. Anything. Just think of it, it will happen to you. These two monkeys were missing for the last 3 weeks, I think. I sent a message to them. See, both of them are here. No, sir? Yes? So, we don't have to go away. You are Brahman with your eyes open, with your eyes closed also. So, very soon as you progress, you will see it. This Brahman. The other day, both of you saw that light. What is that? It is that light of the consciousness. You know what is this light of consciousness? Is Ishvara. And think, this light falls on dirty something on the road. This light, sunlight, does it get dirty? Sunlight falling on something funny, stupid on the road. It doesn't get dirty. It falls on a pitcher of whiskey or wine or beer. It doesn't get drunk. It falls on holy river, Ganga. It doesn't get pure. It is always pure. It is always detached. And this is what we mean. We are that. Asanga aham, asanga aham, asanga aham. We do this for the meditation, chanting punah, 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 asanga aham. Again and again and again. I am that detached. I am not this body. Aging, sickness, disease, poverty, relationship problem is of the body and is of the person, not me. I am that consciousness. I'm using this body. See, you use the car and you've come here. Can you say the car is me? Where is Robin Ghosh here? Where is he? Here. I said, this is me. You don't say the car is me. My mobile is me. You're using them. You're using this body. This realization comes to you. You do take care of your temple, the body too, and your relationships too. But now you're realizing that consciousness and existence, which is Brahman, which is Ishvara, is in everyone. So I do pranam to Shadama every day morning. I know. Have you realized the few days back was the Women Power Day, empowering the woman? They asked me to speak. I said, why? Sir, come on, woman empowerment. I said, okay, but I'll say something you won't like it. They said, what? I said, you all are fools. The meaning? I said, can you sweeten sugar? Meaning? Tell me, can you sweeten sugar? No, it's already sweet. I said, how can you empower women? Even Shiva is standing, sitting down, lying down helplessly. And if you look carefully, how is Shiva looking? Shiva is looking up at Mother Kali. Look carefully at his eyes. You know, Dakshineshwar Mandir, I always see Shiva is looking helplessly, and he is Shiva. But he is helpless. Shakti, Mother Shakti. How can you empower them? I give another example. Mountain Himalaya, mightiest of the mighty, tallest mountain in the world. Look what happened from the glacier. Mother Ganga chose to take birth. Mother Ganga was obstructed by Himalaya. What did she do? Drilled a hole through. Came out from Gangotri. On the way, Himalaya put many boulders. No, sir? He is from that land. How many boulders and rocks? Mother Ganga either chose to go over it, or go around it, or go underneath. But she went and met with the ocean. Ocean is Brahman. And remained holy. We are that. This is what you and I need to realize. This appearance, believing, acceptance, believing, knowing. Whether we accept it, this is one of the monk has said it. It's very nice. I'm about to finish. Vijay sir is saying how long? Got you, no? Whether we accept it or not, whether we believe it or not, whether we understand it or not, whether we know it or not, understanding is in the mind. Mind is that moon. Knowing is the consciousness. We try to know it through our mind, through our intellect, through our ego, where we make the mistake. How do you know you're a man? I just know it. Is it through mind? And vaguely. So it is a secondary thing. More important than that is the fact that we are existence, we are consciousness, we are bliss, we are Aham Brahmasmi. That is everywhere, wherever you call. So I want you all to, this is there in the website, you can, Asanga Aham, Asanga Aham, Asanga Aham. Puna, 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 Puna. Again and again. Asanga meaning I'm detached. Aham is I, Asanga, I'm detached. You are chanting this on your own. And we'll do a little meditation after this. Satchidananda Rupoham Ahameva Avkya. I am detached. Ahameva Avkya. Satchidananda Rupoham, we know. I am detached, I'm detached, I'm detached. And very powerful. Tvameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam. You are glowing. That shining object. Everything is shining. Tasya bhata, your light is which is going, and sarvam idam vivati, everything else lights up. Meaning, if you're not conscious, can you experience anybody? No. So tasya bhata, once you are sending that light of the consciousness, sarvam idam vivati, everything else is shining. Jai Guru.